Welcome to another episode of the Live Internet Studies. My name is ben-Lyman HaNaviy, and let's just jump right into the study. We've been looking through Matthew 9, 14 through 17, and we're working our way through a section, a part of the Gospels. It shows up in actually 3 Gospels altogether, but it's the parable or the story about fasting during the wedding feast, about sewing patches onto older garments, and about pouring new wine into old wineskins. You guys are probably familiar with the story, but I'll read it for you anyway. If you follow along on my screen, you can see it. I've got it pulled up for you here. This section right here. The ESV labels it a question about fasting, and it reads this way. Quote, starting at verse 14. Then the disciples of John came to him, saying, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" Verse 15, and Jesus said to them, "Can the wedding guests mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and they will fast." Verse 16, no one puts a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch tears away from the garment, and a worse tear is made. And then verse 17, neither is new wine put into old wineskins. If it is, the skins burst, and the wine is spilled, and the skins are destroyed, but new wine is put into fresh wineskins, and so both are preserved. All right, so right away from the story, you can see there's 3 parts to the story, or to the section itself. There's the wedding feast, that's part 1 of 3. There's the piece of cloth, that's the 2nd of 3. And then there's the wineskins, that's the 3rd of 3. And what I found in my experience is that, and this comes from reading through Bible commentaries, listening to pastor sermons, and even dialoguing with people via questions and answers, email, things like that. Most garden variety historic Christian authors and commentaries are going to use the part of the story about the garment and the wineskins. Most of them don't really focus on the wedding part, but the fasting and such like that. But most are going to focus on those last 2 of the 3 examples and provide some sort of commentary that indicates that what Jesus is doing is that he's basically explaining that his theology, his religion, his truths that he's bringing to the first century Judaisms there, basically they are incompatible with the current Jewish worldview or the Jewish lifestyle or the Jewish system of thought, the idea where we should be covenant keepers, that we should be keeping the law of Moses, that we should be loyal to the law that was handed down through Moses. Jesus is going to bring something so radically new that it's incompatible with that current system, and thus most commentaries are going to tell you that it's necessary to discard the old in favor of the new, right? The incompatibility. This study is called Judaism v. Christianity, or Judaism and Christianity incompatible with one another. The idea that Jesus is bringing Christianity, and that this Christianity is not compatible with the existing Judaism, the world system that they had clamored after or established or sought to obey. So we what we did in my commentary, which is available on my website at tetzetorah.com, is we looked through a variety of different common Christian authors, well-known, well-respected authors. We looked through Pastor John, not in this order, by the way. We looked through Pastor John MacArthur. We looked through Pastor John Piper. We looked through gotquestions.org. And we're currently looking through David Guzik, Pastor David Guzik. So we've been using these commentaries, and so far they've all been somewhat consistent in their perspective. I mean, I could have gone on and on, kind of gone through, say, like Pastor Pastor John Calvin or whatever, or Luther or something, some more well-known, even long historically established Christian authors, pastors, and things like that. But I think you're probably going to find the same thing over and over again. So let's conclude with Pastor David Guzik. So we just read this final paragraph here last week. I'll read this section one more time. And then I'll conclude his section, and then we're ready to move on to some more. We're going to look eventually, let me scroll down into the commentary. We're going to look eventually get to a section called The Old Man, the New Man, and Messianic Judaism. We might get into that tonight. we'll see where this goes. And then finally, there's a section on my commentary that talks about a better way. In my opinion, we don't have to explain this passage as if Jesus is coming to displace the old with new. The idea of replacement theology, supersessionism, Judaism is out, Christianity is in, the old law is out, the law of Moses is being replaced by the law of Christ or something like that. Old Testament is out, it's old, New Testament is in, it's new. The new people of God, right? The church becomes the new people of God. Israel gets relegated to the old people of God or something like that. So we eventually will get to that